Alright, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be making another one of my unboxing videos, kind of showing off something cool I got from Japan. I actually got two things, although this video is going to be mainly focused on one. The other one I'll probably get a video at some point, because it is also really cool. But I have this very large box that, again, does not fit on camera until I get a better recording setup, which is being worked on. Just a lot of this game room stuff takes a lot of time and a lot of money, so it'll be a little bit of a work in progress. But for now, I can at least open this up. Hopefully, the actual thing should show up on camera fine. Just a bunch of bubble wrap in there. Let me actually get this stuff out, and I will show it to you guys. So the first thing is not actually what this video is about, but I will at least show it off here. You guys will see it in my monthly pickups video and my eventual full video on it. So it's a ManaSpace Philips CDI with the digital video cartridge, the modem, this little power adapter, and like a brand new controller. So really neat. Like I said, this is getting a full video. That's not what this is about, but I got it in the same package, so I guess I show it off a little bit. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I can show you the actual main event for this video. It is a lot smaller than I thought it would be, which I've heard from some people, but I really did not fully believe it until I actually saw it here. So this is it. You guys don't know what this is, which most of you probably don't. This kind of just looks like an old computer of some sort. However, this is has a little bit more of an interesting story to it. So basically, you guys probably all know about the 3DO. It's a game console that was made to compete with the Saturn, the PS1, the Jaguar, N64. Made kind of in that generation. Probably the closest thing to it was like the PS1. However, it was a pretty big failure, unfortunately, because it did have some potential. Kind of like a lot of those failed consoles. I mean, the Jaguar, in theory, had some potential if they didn't, kind of ruin it. But I'm a lover of failed game consoles, so I really like looking at what could have been. And this is a good example of that. So the 3DO was out for a while, ended up getting discontinued. I'm pretty sure it was pretty early in that console generation. I don't think it went the whole length, but I could be wrong. Some info I'm not 100% on. But basically just most of the developers kind of moved their games over to the PS1 because it was more popular at the time. The 3DO company, specifically Panasonic, who kind of licensed out the technology from the 3DO company, they were working on a successor to that console. So the original was the 3DO. This new one had the codename 3DO M2. I don't know if that was going to be a final title or if that was just a codename, but either way, most people know it now as the 3DO M2. And that's what this is. So the M2 never actually came out, at least from a consumer standpoint. This was never something that was really meant to be sold to the public, kind of, in the way that like a normal game console would, and it definitely was not sold as a game console. These were pretty much meant to be used as like little media player boxes for interactive kiosks, training devices, I think. Just weird stuff like that. I know there's some software that's been found for it, which is pretty interesting, and I will definitely show some of that off in this video, but it was never meant to be a video game console, at least after 3DO kind of backed out of that console war. So basically what happened was they were gearing this up to be a successor to the 3DO and kind of a competitor to the PS2, the OG Xbox, the Dreamcast. But I don't know if it was because they ran out of money or just decided it would not be a good idea to continue in that way. They ended up basically canceling the M2 as a game console, and Panasonic kind of repurposed all of the hardware that they had been working on into this unit and another one called the FZ-21. That one's a lot more rare and a lot cooler because it actually looks more like what the actual game console would have looked like. This one was kind of more of a general kind of business-oriented thing. It doesn't share much in terms of visuals with the original prototypes of the game console. However, that's not what really matters. Inside of this, it is still a 3DO M2, and there is still M2 software that's leaked and that you can play on this. So I'll kind of give you a better view of the front. You have a power button. This is a little like disc. This is kind of like a little disc usage light. So when it's accessing that disc in the drive, it'll light up. At least I think. It might also be power. I could be wrong, but I think it's for discs. This is your disk drive. I think this just takes CDs. I don't think it does DVDs. Got a little headphone volume wheel, an IR receiver, I would assume, and then I think that's just kind of an empty little plate. Makes it kind of look more uniform there. Nothing really too special on the sides, but on the back here you can see there's some serial connectors, RGB, which I don't know if that's VGA. It might be, which would be really cool. I'll definitely have to mess around with that. But it has RGB, S-Video, and your normal composite. Keyboard, mouse, controller. So this is where a 3DO controller would plug right into. Parallel port, and your power in. But yep, model number FZ-35S. I'm assuming this is a serial number. Maybe it's that. I'm not sure. I know there's people that kind of add these things up and try to see if they can get like a definite number on how many have been produced. So if either of these serial numbers or anything mean anything to you, you have someone out there has a database of them, that would be cool to kind of know where mine falls. But yeah, really quick, this thing is really dirty, so I'm going to give it a quick wipe down, make it look a little bit nicer, and I'll be right back. So it's not perfect. I definitely have a little bit more work to do on it, but this looks a lot better than it originally did. When I originally saw it, I kind of assumed that some of those marks would come up. Looks like if I keep scrubbing it, I might be able to get some of these extra little pieces off, but for the most part, looking pretty clean. So some of you guys might be kind of wondering how I got my hands on this thing. I ended up just one day, I didn't even really have money on me at the time, but I ended up just one day looking on Yahoo Auctions, which is where I buy a lot of my stuff from Japan, and I have kind of a list of certain things that I'll search on there, just so I don't forget anything. Basically, I just go through a couple times a week, just check and see if anything cool's come up that I'm looking for. I happened to put in FZ-21S because I knew that these consoles existed. I've been wanting one for a while. Other 200 times I've searched it up, nothing came up. This time, 4 of them came up. There was this unit here, and then there were 3 other ones. So I told one of my friends who's also a big collector, his name's Rob, Retro Snowman, Retro Legends, he has a couple different names that he goes by. I ended up sending him the link and being like, hey, dude, there's 4 of these for sale, like, you want to go for them? They were auctions, so we had to wait until, I think it was like a Saturday when it ended. We were kind of hoping that we were the only ones who saw it, but it turned out that one guy from the 3DO Discord ended up seeing it and was kind of bidding against us, and there was one other guy who, we don't know who he is yet, but there was some other guy like bidding up the prices on these. I ended up getting mine for a pretty reasonable price. I think for what it is, I am more than happy with what I paid. Rob ended up paying a bit more than me, so I feel a little bad. But I think part of the reason why mine sold for so cheap was because the seller actually said this one was broken. So I'm going to test it, but I'm pretty sure I know why they thought it was broken. So in all the listings, they had a video of it turned on, just connected up to a monitor. This one too. However, you look on the back, see that little switch right there where it has 1 and 2? He had it plugged in through composite, and that switched to 1. I assume this is in RGB mode, and he tried using composite, which is flipped off of. So in theory, if I just flip this over to 2, it should connect right up and work perfectly. So that's what we're going to test. Still kind of drying off on the top, so it looks a little weird. But let me hook this up to a monitor, and we'll see if it works. Alright, so I have it all plugged in. I have it hooked up to my capture card, so you'll see that kind of somewhere on the screen. And yeah, so hopefully I was correct, and it's just that little switch, and that's the whole reason why it didn't turn on. But I guess we'll find out. Might just take a little bit, because this capture card's a little slow to start sometimes. Hey, there we go. Please insert disk. So looks like it's fine. At least from what I can tell. Let me see if I can get something to run on here. I don't know if this will take normal CDs. I guess I'll try it. I've got the little Mario 25th anniversary disc that I can try out, so we'll see. Ejects right out. That is actually crazy fast. Very interesting kind of design for that. It looks like a little something popped off there. Not gonna act like that sounds great, but it's at least spinning. Still says please insert disk though. So let me see if I can get some software for this thing, and we'll see what I can do. Alright, so I'm back. I have 2 disks here. I tried getting a third. I really wanted to try out, it's a fighting game called Battle Trist, I think is how you pronounce it. For whatever reason, I burned the disc. I couldn't get it to work. Hey, future me here. Just thought I'd add this in here. The reason why that game didn't work on the M2 is because that's actually a arcade disc, not meant for the actual 35S or 21 or anything like that. So that's why it didn't work. I don't think there's anything wrong with the actual dump of it. It just only works on arcade hardware, at least for now. But yeah, I got these two here. First one's a demo disc for the M2. Just has some 3D models and little animations and stuff like that. It's kind of the less interesting of the two. By the way, these discs are like two-sided, and it's the blue side where stuff is written to. So I did not just write on the the actual data side of the disc. They're just very weird. Start this up. I have it connected to my capture card one more time. Pop that drive out. It is crazy how fast that ejects. It's kind of insane. I got my 3DO Panasonic controller hooked right up. Unfortunately, this didn't come with any matching controller or anything. That would have been really cool. Right here we got M2 Bogus Title by fictional developer. I really hope that was by an actual 3DO dev and not the guy who dumped it, because that's really funny. But anyway, got this little spaceship looking thing. Let's see, how do I go to the next? There we go. So this is walking animation. The controls to move around this are very weird. Yeah, super funky to move around it, but there we go. I don't really know what's happening. Yep, so that's a little roller skating animation, some planes or some little spaceships. So we got a guy with a sword. Pretty neat. There's nothing here like playable as far as I know. It's just some little demos kind of showing what it can render. It's pretty neat. You know, I bet this was probably pretty impressive when it was shown off at like trade shows or wherever this was shown. Got some different materials and things like that, so can do kind of reflections pretty neatly. There's a kind of chrome car, that's neat. Yeah, so nothing crazy interesting, just some cool little visual demos to go through. So now let's look at the more interesting demo. There actually are a few other leaked games for the system, and maybe someday I'll make another video trying all of them out. Also someday hopefully there's more that get found. I tried to pick 3, like I said, that one wasn't working for me, but at least have kind of a cool tech demo to show you and then an actual game. So this is going to be the real game here. Alright, so right here we have the next game. It is IMSA Racing, and this is more of an actual title that I can play, so that's cool. But anyway, this is a racing game. Let's go and choose a track. Let's do Laguna Seca. Against other cars, daytime. Car pre-configured. Looks like I can change some things out, so we're gonna do Mazda. I think that's the 787B, which means I gotta put a rotary in it for sure. That looks fine to me. I don't know how big of a difference any of this stuff makes, honestly. I don't even know what this game feels like physics-wise, but I guess we'll try it out. Now, I am playing this through my capture card preview window, so don't expect it to be the best gameplay ever, because it definitely is not. Let's see, can I change the view at all? Nope, doesn't look like you can change the view. You're kind of stuck with... So yeah, it's a racing game. I don't know if this one ever released on any other systems. I really don't know much about it, but it's pretty cool. I realized that the triggers shift gears, and I just money shifted it, but we're good. This isn't real life, so the car won't blow up. But yeah, overall pretty neat. Like I said, there are a couple other games that were also kind of planned for this that demos have leaked out of. So this isn't like the only thing to play on it. Realistically, this is probably one of the more playable ones. Like I showed, there was that little tech demo there. I know there was a port of there was the port of that fighting game, which I don't really know much about, but it looked really cool, and that's why I really wanted to try it. And then I think there's a couple light gun games. So I don't know how that would have worked. I don't know if you need to use like a 3DO light gun or if you just have a crosshair on the screen. I don't know. One of those would be cool to try out. I just don't own a light gun, so there's no real point in me even testing it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the games. What I am going to do really quick is I do want to kind of pop the cover off this thing and at least take a look at what's inside. I'm not going to do a full teardown. For stuff like this, I'm way too nervous. For stuff like this, I'm way too nervous that I'm going to mess something up and not be able to put it back the right way or break something when I'm taking it apart. So I'd rather just kind of open it up and look at it, but not do anything too crazy. So I'll quit this out, and I guess we'll take a look at what's inside. Alright, so it looks like there's 2 screws on either side. Let me grab a good screwdriver really quick. Alright, I got my trusty Cobalt screwdriver that actually is kind of horrible, but it gets the job done. Looks like the back has 3 screws to take off. Actually, there's a little compartment here. Let's see what that's all about. Probably just empty. I assume it would be an expansion for something. Yep, that's empty. And yeah, I'm definitely not taking this apart because of all of these VGA and serial connectors and everything that have the little nuts to screw into. I'm not dealing with those because I have done it before, and you have to basically unscrew them from this end, and it's not fun. Alright, so here we have all those screws taken out, so in theory it should just kind of slide back and pop up in a way. There we go. Pretty standard, like most of the other ones I've seen like this. Now, question is, how do I take the front out? There we go. It definitely doesn't smell great in there. It smells a little musty, like old electronics, but, I mean, that's exactly what this is. So, got this massive disk drive, which is taking up most of the inside of this. I have the power supply, which I'm not touching. And looks like the board with all of our inputs and everything like that. There is an extra IDE connector, which is interesting. With an extra, is this Molex? No, that's not. It's like a little 4-pin. So I don't know what would have gone in there. Maybe a hard drive of some sort? I don't know. Right here you can see that spot where that little cover was. I don't know what that could have possibly gone to. Maybe if there was an actual hard drive in here, then that's where you'd slot it in. I don't know. I'm completely guessing. Just basically a lot of ribbon cables. That's a really funky connector that I don't think I've ever seen before. That white one. I don't know what that could possibly go to. But like I said, I don't want to get too deep into this because I have a habit of breaking things that I touch, and I would rather not do that to this. Because this is probably not one of the most valuable things in my collection, but at least the most, like, rare and sought after, and I'm not trying to break it or damage it in any way. So, I think I'm just going to put this top cover back on and screw it all back together. There we go, all put back together. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end this video, so I hope you guys did enjoy it and you found this as neat and interesting as I do. Like I said, I will definitely look into some of the other games that have been leaked on this once I get some CDs to burn them onto. Maybe I'll do a video kind of going through them all and trying them all out at some point, or a live stream. I don't know. Either way, a really cool piece of my collection. I'm super happy to have that. And this too, which, like I said, will be getting its own video. Yeah, anyway, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I did purchase this with Sendico. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do have a referral link down in the description, so if you guys want to try it out, buy some cool stuff from Japan, and kind of help support me a little bit. I get like $1 for each order, but, you know, it adds up. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.